Welcome to Dave's Take. Today we are talking about Oppenheimer, the new film from Christopher Nolan and my most anticipated film of 2023. The story of American scientist J. Robert Oppenheimer and his role in the development of the atomic bomb. If you've been following my channel and know me personally, you would know that it is no surprise that Oppenheimer is my most anticipated film of the year because of Christopher Nolan. I think Christopher Nolan is one of the greatest filmmakers we've ever seen. He's one of my favorite directors of all time. He's made some of my favorite movies of all time. And when I heard he was making a biopic about Oppenheimer, I was very intrigued because he normally loves the big action set pieces or the movies with the big twist ending. This felt very different from what he normally does. It felt a little bit more personal. And when you read interviews with Christopher Nolan talking about Oppenheimer, it's obviously a subject that he's very interested in. And he said in interviews he feels like Oppenheimer is the most important human in the history of the world. So this felt very personal. This felt like almost a passion project for Christopher Nolan. And of course, I was excited for this film. And I'm happy to say that this film completely shattered my expectations. I absolutely love Oppenheimer. I think this is the movie of the year so far. I think this is a technical masterpiece. Christopher Nolan clearly did his homework on this subject matter because there is so much information in this film. I can't emphasize that enough. But it really feels like he was the only person that would be able to tell the story. Because this film is 3 hours long. And like I just said, there is so much information in this film. But Nolan somehow is able to tell a story here, direct a story here that is completely engaging and doesn't waste your time at all and doesn't leave you in the dust. What I mean by that is you're able to follow along even with the amount of information that's being thrown at you. And I feel like he is really the only director and screenwriter that is able to pull off a story like this. And this really is a technical masterpiece. The editing here is flawless. It really is mesmerizing the things they're able to pull off here. Because there's a lot of times throughout the film we get different perspective from different characters. There's a lot of time jumps. But Nolan's able to craft a film to keep us completely engaged, completely on top of everything, and still telling a compelling story about Oppenheimer, the guy that created the atomic bomb. Yes, this is the story about the guy who created the weapon that could end mankind itself. It is a powerful story, and like Nolan said in an interview, it's one of the most important stories ever told. And what they do here is just brilliant. You really learn so much about Oppenheimer, and it's fascinating to see where his character goes throughout the film when certain things start happening. And one of the reasons why it's mesmerizing to watch is because Cillian Murphy is absolutely fantastic here. This is the best performance of his career, and he 100% should be nominated for an Oscar. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins one. But the thing is, it's not just him. This cast is spectacular in this movie. This is probably the biggest cast I've ever seen, and everyone is on their A game. Emily Blunt is outstanding in this film. This is one of the best performances she's ever given. She is definitely going to be nominated for Best Supporting Actress. And also, Robert Downey Jr. was fantastic here, too. I really can't emphasize the performances in this film, how great they are. It clearly shows that these actors and actresses wanted to be part of this project and wanted to give it their all, because they absolutely did. And Christopher Nolan knows how to direct the hell out of a suspenseful sequence. And yes, I'm talking about the atomic bomb sequence. This thing was a beast. This is my favorite sequence of the year. This is one of my favorite sequences Christopher Nolan's ever made. This is one of my favorite sequences ever made. You know what's going to happen, but the scene is still so suspenseful, and the build-up to it and the build-up during it is just perfectly done. It's a masterful sequence, and another reason why the sequence is so great is because of the music. The music here is brilliant. It better get nominated for an Oscar because it is that good. It really intensifies that sequence, but also the more intense sequences in the film. This is an absolutely fantastic score. This feels different from other Christopher Nolan films because it feels scary. This shit is real. We created something that could end it all. The internal conflict that Oppenheimer has regarding that thought and the whole fallout of everything was just fascinating to see. It is a story that really needs to be seen. And I just feel like everything here was just perfectly done for this story. I will warn you though, this film is not going to be for everyone because it is so dialogue heavy. There is so much dialogue in this film that happens in classrooms, interrogation rooms, courtrooms, labs, all of that. And it could lose some people. Some people might get bored in this film. They might view it as a slow burn. But for me, I just feel like this story was so fascinating, and Christopher Nolan was able to craft something so spectacular to tell this story and have an arsenal of actors and actresses that give some of the best performances of their career to create this technical masterpiece, because the technical aspect of this film really is still so mind-blowing. This is definitely my favorite film of the year so far, and it does have one of the more terrifying final shots and final lines to a film I've ever seen. I'm going to give Oppenheimer 10 Davey Daves.
It's over! It's over!
I was really blown away by this film, and I think people are really going to love it. There's going to be a crowd that's going to be bored by it. It's going to view it as a slow burn, but I don't know. That's fine. I just really was blown away by this film, and Christopher Nolan has done it again. He can do no wrong. He has done it again. So, Oppenheimer, let me know what you guys thought of it once you've seen it. I'm curious to hear. And thank you so much for watching. Click here to see more of Dave's Takes.